morning, everyone. It is Brandy Hooker Evans and Jamie Marbone Nichols here with another episode of The Heart of Dentistry. We are so excited that we get to sit together and see what kind of world problems we can solve. We've got a big one in store for you today. We are going to be solving the heartbreak of the broken teen spirit. Now, we know that relationships are the most important part to life in all aspects, professionally, personally, even down to the grocery store experience. You can have a wonderful time and be fulfilled and be ready to work and contribute, or you can have the life sucked out of you and be completely devastated based on how those interactions go with the relationships that are around us. So, Jamie, we know about a couple of hurting teams. Will you share with us a broken spirit story?
Yeah, I'm working with a team, and I can relate personally to a broken spirit. I think a lot of people out there, and sometimes you can't put your finger on it with what caused the broken spirit, what did that. But I'm getting ready to do a talk next month at the SmileCon, our national meeting for ADA, and I've been asked to talk about what is success. And to me, with that coupled with this team that's struggling with a broken spirit, that safety net, I just come up with, how do we measure success? And
Money. How about the money?
yeah, right. And everyone thinks it's about the money. They think it's about their title after their name, or that's success. But to me, success is about the spirit and the heart, which you and I hold near and dear to us, right? So we get these teams where the business owner, the leaders will say, my team is disengaged, or, I've lost 3 team members in the last few months and I don't know what's going on, because they know they have a place to come. They know that they've always got a job and stuff like that. And as I speak with these team members, and fortunately, I've been able to meet with some of the team members with one particular team that have actually left the job to get their insight as to why they started looking somewhere else and why they couldn't go to their team members. And it all comes back to the trust and safety. It's that bubble, it's that circle. And so we have safety centered around our families, right? We have safety centered around our families. And what does that look like, right? What do we do, Brandy? What do we do to ensure that our family feels safe? What are some of the things we do?
Well, I think that as a parent and a wife, I know that when I am showing unconditional love, and whether you've made a mistake or not, I'm going to be there with you and
Right.
and I'm going to help guide you through it. And I'm going to listen to you. And I think that so many people don't feel that they can be seen and heard, because if they are, then there's a question as to whether or not they're valuable. And when you start to think that you aren't valuable and you're not seen and you're not heard, I've seen humans of all ages, and including professionals with as many alphabet letters behind their names as you could hope for, crumble before our eyes because they don't have that security that they're.
Yeah. And so I'm just taking it back to the exact family. You're exactly right. It's our job as parents to set our kids up for success, to make sure that they are fed and clothed and they have a safe environment, and that we can help them be as successful as possible, right? And if one of our kids misbehaves, we don't just get rid of them, right?
Right. But I think
we might have to discipline them. We might have to discipline them. But when it comes to our teams, why don't we take, this is what I keep coming back to, why don't we take that same thought process into our teams? And I think what happens is that we sometimes can think that they're replaceable, or we might think that they're misbehaving or they've done something wrong. I'm going to sit them down and I'm going to scold them, right? Instead, it's like 9 times out of 10, if our kids are misbehaving, it has something to do with something more personal to them. Usually it's within them, and we can sit down hopefully and talk to them about it, right? But some of these team members, it's sad, are feeling like as a coach that lives clear across the country from them, they're reaching out to me instead of their leaders, instead of the who can help them. And it's, why is that? Is it either they don't feel safe? They don't feel like they can be vulnerable. They can't say, hey, I feel like I'm in over my head, or hey, I need more time to do this, or hey, I'm having issues at home and I need a little grace right now because I'm struggling at home personally, but just give me a little grace. And I know that I'll get back on my feet. I just wanted you to know, but they don't feel safe to do that.
Right. And so that's how we're going to start to rebuild the spirit. We have to look at the discord, look at the dysfunction, and say, okay, where are we falling apart? And I think that anytime you look at your team, and we'll say that when you are a leader, when you look at your team and you feel like you're a parent and above them and in charge of them and are going to dictate how they're supposed to show up to work, that's when we know right there, stop. It's a leadership issue, because, good leaders don't produce good followers. Good leaders produce great leaders, right?
Yes.
And so whether you're an assistant or an office manager or a hygienist or a doctor, we want every single member of the team to be leading their own career and to be leading their portion of the team, so that everyone's working together for this beautiful momentum where the patients are cared for and the business is thriving. But every single person has to be contributing to their, I always envision like cogs in a wheel, like it's going around in a circle and they're fitting together correctly, so that the top cog is not like bringing everyone along with them. It's that everyone's functioning together.
Yes.
Create this result, this success that we're hoping for, which in my opinion, Jamie, is measured by fulfillment and team loyalty and patient loyalty, not how much anybody's making.
Exactly. Those are good points. And so again, what I want to ask is, when somebody asks you, do you love your husband? Do you love your children? You say, of course I do. Well, tell me the day. Tell me the minute you fell in love with your husband. tell me the minute you fell in love, right? Well, that's impossible. That's totally impossible, right? But what made you, because when you first met, you guys didn't fall in love. You weren't in love. What made you fall in love is the little things that are happening every day, all day long. If I want to get in shape, I don't go to the gym for 9 hours. I go to the gym for an hour. I look in the mirror, and do I look any different? No. I go to the gym the next day. I look in the mirror. Do I look any different? No. But I do know, what I do know 100% is that if I go to the gym every day for X amount of time, that I will eventually see the difference. I know that my husband and I fell in love over the course of time because of those everyday little things that we started to do before we got married, right? And going to get a glass of water and automatically getting one for your spouse or your boyfriend or girlfriend. Well, it's the same thing within that team. I get asked all the time, how do I get them to trust and to feel safe again? And it's by doing those little things every single day and having consistency in what your approach is to making them feel safe. Doing, your husband buying you flowers and chocolate one time didn't make you fall in love with them, right?
Mm-mm.
Right. And it's the same thing with your team. They're not going to, by giving them a bonus that month or sending them flowers on their birthday, isn't what makes them fall in love with you and makes them love their job, not just like it.
Right.
It's the daily things that happen between the interaction of the team and the leaders.
Well, just like in your example, you had to start. You had to go to the gym. You had to start that relationship. And so for the leaders that are listening, if you feel like your team is broken, I would invite you to, first thing in the morning, you go to work tomorrow morning, look at every single team member in the eye as you greet them for the first time in the day and tell them hello. Tell them good morning.
Ask them how they're doing.
And even if you feel a little rushed, let's say you don't have time to open up the can of worms and learn that, Brandy's having a hard time at home. If you can look at that other human and say, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for coming to work today. I'm really excited to serve our patients today with you. You didn't even have to open up a can of worms and invite the humanity in, but you just gave someone the validity that they are important, they are here, and you are grateful for it. And sometimes you have to look at the thread of truth. Like there's always a thread of truth in the
Yeah.
break. So maybe you're looking at them and you're thinking, I am so nervous about today because often it doesn't go well and you don't do what I've asked. But somewhere in there, there's something about them. There's a reason that you hired them in the first place, that you are grateful for them.
Mhm.
So that's my starting place, Jamie. So let's start the day good. And then how do we continue to build that rapport with our team after we
Yeah.
to the gym that first time?
The team, this one particular client, I said, why does your team members come to me instead of to you and the other leaders in the office? He goes, I don't know. They know I'm approachable. And I said, you're approachable in your heart, but you come in and you're nose to the grindstone, and then you leave. You have kids to get off to soccer games. You have all these things to do. When are you going to carve out enough time so that these team members feel like your desk or your door is open?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're just running in and running out and just doing a little bit of how are you doing today here and there. So we're carving out time one day a week for about an hour and a half that it's going to be open. The doctor's in, literally, and they're going to be able to come do that. I have another team member that has Tuesday morning coffee for anyone that wants to come and go meet them for coffee before they start the day. And they just have a sign-up sheet, and they meet him for coffee if they want. He goes, I've gone many Tuesdays in a row where nobody met me at 7:00. Nobody signed up, but I've gone many Tuesdays in a row when somebody's just got something heavy on their heart that they want to share. Sometimes it's to do with work. Sometimes it's not.
Mm-hmm.
And
beautiful. And I think that whole concept of breaking bread together is super important. Obviously, coffee is not necessarily bread.
yeah,
Yeah, it's been successful. And for my team is at least once a month we get together, and it's during productive time. It's incorporated in the workday where we don't see patients, but we see each other, and we get as many of the team members that can possibly attend. We have lunch. We chit chat about what's been going on with our patients. We have, housekeeping items or a continuing education item. And then every time we play a game, and I'll just share, we play left, right, center, and I always have cash prizes. And it's so fun.
I love that.
Everyone just feels like, hey, we're a team. And so are we solving all the problems? Are we implementing the new systems? Are we making sure that our KPIs are matching our ROIs and all that? No, we're looking at everyone and being like, how the heck are you? And some of the girls, babies that come, and we're like, oh, how's little Johnny? And look how big little Susie is. And we remember that even though we're working together and trying to get through the schedule together, that we're also humans experiencing this life together. And for many of us, we spend more time with our work team.
We do.
Than we do with our home team.
Yes, exactly. And I love that you do that. I think that's another great idea they can do. Sometimes the doctors feel like it's never enough. And I get that. And if you're a team member that doesn't feel appreciative of these types of things that like you and your husband are doing at your practice, then you need to look at yourself in the mirror too. It's not always just about the doctor. It's not always just about that. One of the things I do that they might consider when I'm coaching is I do something called the 5 languages of appreciation in the workplace. So that's something that's going to be on the team for this, because you may have an appreciation of gifts. And so you love that, where I might be words of affirmation. Mm-hmm. And so what works for you money-wise, or a gift card to go get a spa day or something like that, to me, it may be that you said, I was listening to how you were speaking to Mrs. Jones when she was really nervous, that new patient that came in, and you were so kind and caring and patient with her. It made me so happy that you're a team member. That would mean more to me as a words of affirmation from my boss or one of my leaders or one of my left or my right, because that's the other part, is that a good team member takes care of the people to the left and to the right. But to just hear that specific thing would mean I'd be over the moon. So I do love the 5 languages of appreciation in the workplace to use as well, because that's how you find out what really they appreciate. Some want quality time, like what you were mentioning, that the people that show up for coffee with my one client or show up to go play left, right, center, you know what I mean? They wanted that quality time away from the office. So I think that we've given our listeners some things to think about. Is there anything else that you would like to add to that?
I do. Actually, one thing that I've learned in life in every category is when I'm feeling frustrated, unseen, unheard, unvalued, unappreciated, I start to serve the person or the team that I feel so let down by. And I try to serve them without expectation of anything in return. And I try to figure out, like you said, the 5 languages of appreciation in the workplace, or 5 languages, like whatever category we're in. And if I can just say, you know what, I am hurting so bad, I am going to serve this person or this situation without expectation. It always gets better. And I always get service in return from whatever it is. So that would be my parting. If you're feeling broken and your spirit is feeling broken in your team or even in your house, serve the thing, the team, or the person that is feeling hurt to you, that is hurting you. And give it a couple of days and see what happens. I think you'll be.
I agree. And also, just to add to that too, I love that, and I think it's true, is to dive in instead of avoid and be angry about it, to dive in and see how you can serve that person. I think that's a great suggestion. And also, just remember that leadership is not a calling, it's a choice.
Mhm.
And good leaders create the environment. A good leader knows what needs to happen in that environment. And that's the thing that I think that leaders don't take as strongly as they should. They just think, oh, they know how to cut teeth. I'll hire this doctor. They've got a pleasant personality. Oh, they know how to, use the ultrasonics perfectly. They know how to make a great temporary, whatever it is. But it's not what creates safety. We have to have that safety, get that pain of them feeling unsafe or they can't approach you. That needs to go away as soon as possible.
Yeah, today's a great day to start. We don't have to beat ourselves up for what we did in the past, but today,
great.
Let's do it.
And being authentic and saying to your team, I've failed in creating a safe environment, is maybe one of those first steps. And this is what I want to work on. And then open up the conversation.
Beautiful. I love it, Jamie. Well, thank you everyone for joining us for an episode of The Heart of Dentistry. We are on your team. We're cheering for you, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.